Dear friends, today we will see the quality of the irrigation water and its suitability. First of all, we need to understand the characteristics which will determine the quality of the irrigation water. In that, the first important characteristics is the total concentration of the total soluble salts present in the irrigation water, or we know as a electrical conductivity of the water. Secondly, relative proportion of the sodium to other cations, that is the sodium absorption ratio. Concentration of the boron or other elements which may be toxic, and bicarbonate concentration as related to the concentration of calcium and magnesium. These are the four major characteristics which determines the quality of the irrigation water. If we see the criteria and standards for assessing suitability of the saline water for the irrigation purpose, the suitability of the water for the irrigation should be evaluated on the basis of criteria indicative of its potential to create the soil conditions hazardous to the crop growth or to the animals or to the humans consuming those crops. Relevant criteria for judging the irrigation water quality in terms of the potential hazards to crop growth are primarily the permeability and tilth, salinity, toxicity and nutritional imbalance. Whatever the suitability of the water for the irrigation purpose, it should be evaluated on the basis of criteria of its potential to create the soil conditions which are hazardous to the crop growth. Whatever the water which is used, if it is hazardous to the crop growth or to the animals or to the humans who are consuming those crops, the relevant criteria for judging the irrigation water quality in terms of their potential hazards are primarily the permeability of the soil, tilth condition of the soil, salinity of the soil, and toxicity and nutritional imbalance of the soil. Permeability and tilth, the interactive, harmful effect of the excessive exchangeable sodium and high pH in the soil and low electrolyte concentration in the infiltrating water on soil structure, permeability, and teeth. Whatever the excessive exchangeable sodium present in the water, it increases the sodium concentration in the soil, and as we know, as and when the sodium content in the soil increases, it will give the dispersion of the soil particles, it will give the clogging of the macropores and micropores which are present in the soil, it reduces the infiltration, drainage, and thus it affects the physical properties of the soil. Besides this, it also affects the nutrient supply from the soil. It affects the soil microfauna. As and when there will be the higher pH in the soil and low electrolyte concentration or the low electrical conductivity in the infiltrating water, it will affect the soil structure, it will affect the permeability of the soil, as well as it will affect the tilth condition of the soil. These effects are evidenced by disaggregation. Aggregation, that is the formation of the smaller soil aggregates or the clods. Disaggregation means whatever this natural soil aggregates occurs in the soil, these are fragmented, these are broken down, and this disaggregation in the soil is the effect of exchangeable sodium, higher or excessive exchangeable sodium within the soil with higher pH and lower electrical conductivity. Secondly, the crusting. In last 2-3 lectures, we have seen what is meant by soil crusting. This soil crusting is caused due to the higher concentration of the sodium, which gives the dispersion of the soil particles. This will give the accumulation of the soil particles in the macro and micropores of the soil, which reduces the infiltration, drainage within the soils. Poor tilth, coarse, cloudy, compacted topsoil aggregates is known as the port. And these coarse, cloudy or the compacted topsoil aggregates are the indicators to know the harmful effect of the higher concentration of the sodium as well as the permeability and tilth, and by reduced rate of the water infiltration. Whatever the permeability and tilth evidences which can be judged, this can be judged as a disaggregation in the soil, crusting in the soil, poor tilth of the soil, or by reduced rate of the water infiltration. Secondly, salinity of the soil. The general effect of the salt on the crop transpiration and growth, which are thought to be largely osmotic in nature. As we know, higher the concentration, these elements will move from higher concentration to the lower concentration. You have studied this osmosis, and the general effect of the salt on the crop transpiration and growth occurs largely through the osmosis and hence related to the total salt concentration rather than to the individual concentration of the specific salt constituents. Whatever the higher salts which are accumulated in the soils, it will move to the crops through the water and it will be accumulated in the soil, in the crop. Thus, the total salt concentration which is present in the crop or in the plants rather than the individual concentration will indicate the salinity effect on the crop or on the plant. These effects are generally evidenced by reduced transpiration. As and when there is a higher concentration of the salts present in the plants, it will reduces the transpiration of the plant. Proportionally, it will show the retarded growth. As and when there will be the higher concentration of the total salts in the plants, it will reduces the growth of the plants, producing the smaller plants with fewer and smaller leaves. If we have to observe this effect of the salinity on the plant, we can observe the reduced transpiration, retarded growth of the plant, smaller plants with fewer or the smaller leaves. Thirdly, the toxicity and nutritional imbalance. The effect of the specific solute or their proportions on plant growth, especially those of chlorine, sodium and boron. These effects are generally evidenced by the leaf burn and defoliation. Toxicity or the nutritional imbalance of some of the specific nutrients or the elements, particularly chloride, sodium and boron, generally evidenced by leaf burn or by the defoliation. Then we will see the classification of the irrigation water. This irrigation water is classified on the basis of salinity hazards, on the basis of sodium hazards, that is the sodium absorption ratio. On the basis of the residual sodium carbonate, that is the RSC, and on the basis of concentration of the boron present in the water. Whatever the irrigation water, this irrigation water is classified on the basis of salinity hazards, on the basis of sodium hazards, on the basis of residual sodium carbonate, and on the basis of concentration of the boron. We'll see one by one. First of all, classification of the irrigation water on the basis of salinity hazards. There are four major water classes. Salinity hazards are related with the electrical conductivity of that water, which measures the concentration of the salts. C1 water class is low in the salinity, which has the electrical conductivity in between 0.1 to 0.25 decisimon per meter. If we see the salt concentration, it is less than 0.16 grams per liter. And this water is safe with likelihood of any salinity problem. This water can be used for the irrigation. Second class of the water is the C2, which is having the medium salinity. The electrical conductivity of this C2 class is in between 0.25 to 0.75 decisimon per meter. Salt concentration is in between 0.16 to 0.5 grams per liter. And if we see the suitability of this water, it will need the moderate leaching, particularly when it is used for the irrigation purpose. Then C3 class is the high salinity water class, which has the electrical conductivity in between 0.75 to 2.25 decisimon per meter. Salt concentration is 0.5 to 1.5 grams per liter. This water cannot be used on the soils with restricted drainage. Or in other words, we can say that this water can be used only in the soils where there is a drainage. The fourth class of the water is C4, which is very high salinity water class. The electrical conductivity is in between 2.25 to 5 decisimon per meter. Salt concentration is 1.5 to 3 grams per liter, and this water is unsuitable under the ordinary condition for irrigation. Thus, on the basis of salinity hazards, this water is classified as low salinity water, medium salinity water, high salinity water, and very high salinity water. Then we will see the classification of the irrigation water on the basis of sodium hazards or the alkali hazards, that is the sodium absorption ratio. The sodium absorption ratio is equal to sodium divided by under root calcium plus magnesium divided by 2. That is the formula used for calculation of the sodium absorption ratio. Here sodium, calcium and magnesium represents the concentration in milliequivalents per liter of the water. On the basis of this sodium absorption ratio or on the basis of the sodium hazards, water is also classified into 4 classes. The first class is S1, that is the low sodium containing water. The sodium absorption ratio is in between 0 to 10, and this water can be used on all soils with little danger of exchangeable sodium. Then second class is the S2, which is the medium sodium water class. The SAR is in between 10 to 18. Produce the appreciable hazard in fine textured soils, and it can be used in the coarse textured soils. Then S3 water class, which is high sodium. The SAR content is 18 to 26. produces harmful levels of the exchangeable sodium on the soil. And the last class is the S4 class, very high sodium content. SAR is more than 26, and this water is unsuitable for the irrigation. On the basis of sodium hazards, this water is classified into 4 classes as S1, S2, S3 and S4. Low sodium containing water, medium sodium containing water, high sodium containing water, and very high sodium containing water. Low sodium containing water can be used on all soils with little danger of the exchangeable sodium. Medium sodium containing water produces the appreciable hazards in the fine textured soils. It can be used in the coarse textured soils. While high sodium containing water produces the harmful levels of the exchangeable sodium, and very high sodium containing water is unsuitable for the irrigation purpose. Then we will see what is meant by SAR, that is the sodium absorption ratio, which is a measure of amount of the sodium relative to the calcium and magnesium in the water extract from a saturated paste extract, or it is the ratio of sodium concentration divided by square root of 1/2 of the calcium and magnesium concentration, expressed in milliequivalents per liter. While RSC, that is the residual sodium carbonate, is equal to the sum of the carbonate and bicarbonate ion concentration minus sum of the calcium and magnesium ion concentrations, and it is expressed in the milliequivalents per liter. Sometimes in examination you may be asked, define SAR or define RSC. Then we will see the classification of the irrigation water on the basis of residual sodium carbonate, which is equal to carbonates and bicarbonates minus calcium plus magnesium, and it is always expressed as milliequivalents per liter of the water. On the basis of RSC, water is classified into 3 classes. The first class is low residual sodium carbonate containing water, which has RSC value less than 1.25, and it is safe for the irrigation purpose. Medium RSC water has the RSC value in between 1.25 to 2.50 milliequivalents per liter, and it is marginally safe for the irrigation purpose. While high RSC water has the RSC value more than 2.5 milliequivalents per liter, and it is unsuitable for the irrigation purpose. Then classification of the irrigation water on the basis of concentration of the boron. This concentration of the boron is always indicated in ppm, that is parts per million. Boron class 1 sensitive crop, it is less than 0.33 ppm. For semi-tolerant crops, it is less than 0.67 ppm, and for the tolerant crops, less than 1 ppm. Boron class 2 for sensitive crops, it is 0.33 to 0.67. For semi-tolerant crop, 0.67 to 1 ppm. For tolerant crops, 1 to 2 ppm. Boron class 3 for sensitive crop, 0.67 to 1 ppm. For semi-tolerant crop, 1 to 2 ppm. For tolerant crop, 2 to 3 ppm. Fourth boron class for sensitive crops, it is 1 to 1.25 ppm. For semi-tolerant crop, 2 to 2.5 ppm. And for tolerant crop, 3 to 3.75 ppm. Fifth boron class for sensitive crops, more than 1.25. For semi-tolerant crops, more than 2.50 ppm, and for tolerant crops, more than 3.7. Thus, on the basis of boron concentration, which is always indicated as ppm for the irrigation water, there are 5 classes, and this boron class water can be used for the sensitive crops, semi-tolerant crops, as well as the tolerant crops. Depending upon the boron concentration in the water, we have to choose the crops which can be cultivated in the soil by using this irrigation water. Then tolerance of the plants to the boron. The tolerant crops are the sugar beet, onion, turnip, cabbage, lettuce. Semi-tolerant crops are the sunflower, potato, tomato, radish, wheat. Sensitive crops are the apple, grape, fig, cherry, apricot, and orange. And depending upon this tolerance of the plants to the boron, we have to select that which crops can be cultivated by using that boron containing water. This is all about regarding this topic. You may be asked, state the quality parameters of the irrigation water, describe in brief any one of them, state the characteristics that determines the quality of irrigation water, and give criteria for assessing the suitability of the saline water for the irrigation. You may be asked to define SAR or the RS. This is all about regarding this topic.